Welcome back to Flow blockchain development. Today is the first lesson. It's going to be an introduction to the Flow blockchain. If you're not already aware, Flow is a blockchain built originally by Dapper Labs. And the whole goal is to make Flow able to power apps, games, and digital assets, in making it a blockchain that differentiates itself from Bitcoin, from Ethereum, and from other decentralized app providers such as Solana. This one is built by Dapper Labs. So to get started in our intro, we're just going to be talking about the first steps, giving an introduction to Cadence, which is the programming language of Flow, and just going through the first tutorial. So first steps. In this tutorial, we'll learn how to use smart contracts, how to switch accounts, and how to view your account state. First, we'll start with what is Cadence. Cadence is a new smart contract programming language for use on the Flow blockchain. Cadence introduces new features to smart contract programming language that helps developers ensure that their code is safe, secure, clear, and approachable. Some of these features are type safety in a strong static type system, resource-oriented programming, a new paradigm that pairs linear types with object capabilities to create a secure and declarative model for digital ownership by ensuring that resources and their associated assets can only exist in one location at a time, cannot be copied, and cannot be accidentally lost or deleted. Built-in preconditions and postconditions for functions and transactions. The utilization of capability-based security, which enforces access control by requiring the access to objects is restricted to only the owner and those who have valid references to the object. Please see the Cadence introduction for more information about high-level design of the language. So if you haven't heard of Cadence before, that's okay. If you've done blockchain development in the past, you've probably used Solidity, which is for Ethereum and the Ethereum virtual machine. Cadence is what Flow uses, so it's going to be a slightly different programming language, and throughout this course we're going to be diving into the Cadence programming language using the Flow Developer Playground, which is going to make it easy for anyone on any device to start coding with Cadence, whether you're an experienced programmer or you've never touched a keyboard or done any programming before. So, speaking of the Flow Playground, what is the Flow Developer Playground? The Flow Playground includes an in-browser editor and an emulator to experiment with Flow. Using the Flow Playground, you can write this Cadence smart contracts, deploy them to a local Flow emulated blockchain, and you can submit transactions to that blockchain. The Flow Playground should be compatible with any standard web browser, but we recommend that you use Google Chrome because it's been tested and optimized for the Chrome browser so far. I am using Brave, which is built on top of Chromium. Brave is a Web3 Chromium implementation. So if you have any questions about Chrome or Brave, that's kind of outside the scope of this, but Flow Playground should work on pretty much any browser you use. Getting to know the Playground. The Playground contains everything you need to get familiar with deploying Cadence smart contracts and interacting with transactions and scripts. The Playground comes preloaded with contracts and transaction templates that correspond to each of the tutorials in the docs site. To load the contracts from a specific tutorial, click the examples link at the top of Playground. This opens up a menu with each tutorial. When you click on one of these links, the tutorial will open in a new tab and the contracts, transactions, and scripts will be loaded into the templates in the Playground for you to use. Accounts and contracts. The accounts section on the left side of the screen is where the active accounts are listed and selected. You can click on an account tab to view the contract that is associated with that account in the main editor. When you have Cadence code open in the account editor that contains a contract, you can click the deploy button in the top right of the screen to deploy that contract to the currently selected account. After a few seconds, you should see a message in the console confirming that the contract was deployed. You should also see the name of the contract show up in the tab for the account, indicating the account now has that contract deployed to it. You can also select transactions and scripts from the left selection menu and submit them to interact with your deployed smart contracts, which will be covered in the Hello World tutorial. This is just a small set of things you can do with Playground. If you would like a more detailed explanation of the different Playground features, look at the Playground manual. Resources. Each tutorial in this package uses several files containing transactions, contracts, and scripts. All the code you need will be provided in the text of the tutorials for you to copy and paste, or you can use the pre-generated tutorial setups in the playground. Say hello world. Now that you have the Flow Developer Playground running, you can create a smart contract for Flow. So real quick, we're going to just look at the playground. So I just clicked the Flow Playground, and we can already see that we have accounts, we have this code editor, and we also have this deploy button where we can deploy it to a local blockchain. So it looks like, just very simply and quickly, my access was denied when I tried to deploy it, but I was able to try deploying my code. This looks very similar if you've done any development on Ethereum. This looks very similar to Ethereum Remix, which is an IDE for Ethereum, which you can code Solidity contracts in and then deploy those on a local browser-based Ethereum blockchain. So if you've done work on Ethereum Remix, Flow Playground feels like a very similar experience to that. So if you've already done work with Remix, this should feel familiar to you. If you haven't done work with Remix, don't worry. The Dapper Labs team made some great documentation for us to be able to follow their tutorials without any programming experience needed. This was a very short tutorial, just a quick intro to the Flow programming language, the Cadence programming language on the Flow blockchain provided by Dapper Labs. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments, or if you're watching this on Udemy, send us a message on any social media site at VoiceFirstAI. That's it for this tutorial. Stay tuned for the next lesson where we'll be going through the Hello World project. Thank you for joining us.